All right, so welcome to the virtual admitted student day for the Master of Arts Management. Again, let's get into it. As you know, because you just met them, I'm going to lead this, and then Justin is our faculty member and the program director for the Master of Arts Management, and we have Charlie and Nadine on the line. And then joining us towards the tail end is going to be Paul Loretto. He is a manager in Columbia Central, which is like our student affairs / financial services office. So if you do have a couple questions about your award letters or financial aid, that kind of thing, he'll be around at the end during the Q&A. So a little bit about Columbia. Our mission is to, as you see here, educate students who will communicate creatively and shape the public's perceptions of issues and events, who will author the culture of their times. So one of the ways that's really interesting right now, just the thought of authoring the culture of the times, is because of us having to move online during the pandemic and during this quarantine. So there's a lot of interesting and innovative ways that Columbia students are already bouncing back and doing things virtually. That is, I think, really reflective of how nimble the student body is and how creative they can be. And one of Columbia's crowning jewels, I think, is the fact that it's such a diverse school. As you can see here, about half of the student population identifies as people of color, and there's just a really wide range of types of people who attend Columbia, which really adds to the voice and the creativity there. We're located on Chicago's Cultural Mile near Buckingham Fountain, if you're familiar, and Grant Park. I'll show you a campus map in the next slide. We can talk a little bit more about that. We're looking at 130 years of Columbia Strong, and it was founded by 2 women, which I think is amazing. Our current president is Dr. Kwang-Woo Kim, and there's about 7,000 students at Columbia. The most are undergraduate students. The School of Graduate Studies is probably between 300 and 400 students at any given time. Okay, so here, the ideal would have been that we could give you a little tour of campus. So I'm just gonna try to show you this map and give you an idea of where it is in Chicago. Columbia is located in the South Loop. And this is a picture of Buckingham Fountain, which I mentioned earlier, right here. So this is Lake Michigan, obviously, and this is the museum campus. So if you're familiar with the Shedd Aquarium or the Field Museum, or you've heard of them, we're literally within walking distance. This blue area here I've highlighted because this is where the management buildings really are. So there's really just about a 1 block area where it'll be on campus typically. So we're going to walk through those buildings in the next slide, but all these purple notes are just all the different kinds of public transportation around here. So Columbia is accessible by basically any of the train lines on the CTA, and is pretty close to a couple of metro stations too. So that's good to know for the people who are relocating. It'll be really pretty simple to get to campus. All right, so 618 South Michigan Avenue is sort of the headquarters. It's home to the Business and Entrepreneurship Department, and most of your classes will be in this building. I really love this building, honestly, because I forgot to mention that I'm an arts management alumna, so I have a lot of fun memories of this place. I graduated in 2019 and then ended up back at Columbia. 623 South Wabash is home to the Hoken Gallery, which is, if you're into visual arts management, where the gallery is the gallery that the gallery management class manages. It also is home to Shop Columbia, which isn't specific to business and entrepreneurship, but it's just a good thing to point out. Shop Columbia sells artworks and products made by undergraduate students, graduate students, faculty, staff, alumni. It's just an amazing place. And House, which is a student event space that sometimes our events management, event practicums use. And then lastly, we have 624 South Michigan Avenue. It's where the library is, and sometimes additional classes, depending. One more thing to note is that Columbia opened the Student Center this past fall, which is this amazing, gorgeous new building, and hopefully something you can take advantage of if you decide to come here. It's got dining, a food court, and some coffee shops on the first floor, tons of space to just sit and study. The Career Center is located there. There's a maker space on the second floor, which means that if you have some projects you want to be working on, they might have the kinds of tools that you need to get them done, just depending if you have your own art practice or whatever. There's also a fitness center if you want to be in the gym while you're here. Okay, and then the last facilities highlight, this on the left is the Hoken Project, which is the gallery that the gallery management class manages. And then there's also the Museum of Contemporary Photography located in 600 South Michigan. Some students end up getting opportunities to work there if they're interested in photography or curatorial management, that kind of thing. All right, so we're heading into the curriculum, in which case I'm going to hand it over to Justin to talk you through years 1 and 2 and what that look like.
Excellent. Hey again, everybody. Yeah, first day back at school today, so it's very exciting to be talking about our curriculum. So as you can see here, we have it mapped out for you. It's a 2-year program, and when you start in the fall, you take marketing, accounting, and economics, and then you also have an elective, and that's where you can dive deeper into perhaps a discipline-specific course that you're interested in. So we have a lot of great options that kind of rotate in and out of our curriculum as far as electives. There's a lot of learning by doing. That's a really big part of our curriculum. So like Kelly said, if you want to learn by running an art gallery, you can do that. If you want to help be part of the team of a digital marketing firm, you can do that in my class. You can run a record label, you can run a festival, you can run all kinds of cool stuff, but there are also other electives that are more traditionally structured. But so yeah, you get to start taking electives your very first semester, which is, I think, a really cool thing. Semester 2, you get into finance, then our law class, and then a leadership class, and then once again another elective. So that would be semester 2. Kelly, you want to flip the script here? And then, yeah, as you can see here, semester 3 and 4, it really opens up. And again, this is really exciting. In semester 3, you take strategic planning, and then you would also take new media strategies, which is a class that I teach. It's a digital marketing class. And there we go. Basically by the end of my new media strategies class, I think that you're well equipped to, if you wanted to, let's say, be a digital marketing consultant, I give you the framework to completely lay out a digital marketing plan for an arts organization. So we go step by step through that, and it's very hands-on. So that's with me. But yeah, once again, you have 2 electives in semester 3, and semester 4, you have tons of options. And these include the opportunity to study away, including international opportunities and also opportunities within the United States, whether it's, we have a really cool trip to Miami, for example. We have a really cool trip to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And also it's worth noting that where there's not a required thesis, you could take a thesis as an elective, but typically students choose to, as an elective, do independent projects or independent studies. And that's where you can do research on, let's say, a new initiative or a project or a company you want to start, or you want to work with an artist. That's something that we can actually tailor to become a project where you get credit within your master's degree to actually start working on, a project of yours. So I know when I was in graduate school, I did this and was able to do a lot of research and hands-on working on a project, a digital marketing project. It ended up becoming part of a textbook and also ended up being kind of the framework of helping build a division of a company. And I also got credit for that in my master's degree. So that's why we have these electives. They're a great way to take a deeper dive into your discipline specific interests. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yep. Great. Charlie, you want to talk us through what your tips are as a current student?
Absolutely. Hey, hi, gang. I just 3 quick tips, but the things that I found really helpful going through the program, and things that I think I would want to pass on to people going through this program to make it as successful as possible. So number one, I think my favorite thing that is an aspect of the MAM program at Columbia is the cohort model. Being able to rely on this group of people throughout your 2 years who you'll take 90% of your classes with is huge. They're the people that will get to know your work. You'll get to know their work very well. You'll work in many different groups with these people. So my advice is to get to know them as quickly as possible. Invest in each other, because then the group will invest back in you, and it'll just make your practice and whatever you're looking to do even stronger. Number two, I would say make the program work for you and whatever your interests are. Take these 2 years to really use your status as a student to do all the things you've wanted to do. What's a dream company you've wanted to work for, and see if they have internships. If you've wanted to travel, find one of these classes that Justin mentioned that has travel as part of it to go really broaden your networking efforts beyond Chicago. Team up with a friend and start a company and start a business. So we've heard Justin talk about that. We have friends starting businesses left and right out of this, or having ideas that are coming to fruition, that are able to access resources because we're students. So I would say take these 2 years and use them to your full advantage because you are a student. And then number three, I think, as far as it's you've heard people on this call already say, I have a really specific interest, or my interests are pretty varied and I'm excited to see where those go. I would recommend staying open to change. You may come in with a really specific idea, but allow yourself to take some classes outside of that to see what sparks your interest and maybe a passion you never knew. Or maybe you come in really broad and then find that one thing that would have never occurred to you outside of the walls of Columbia. Allow yourself to be changed by the program and by the people around you.
Those are great. I fully agree. Okay, Nadine, what are your tips to new management students?
Yeah, well, through my experience, at Columbia, I've realized that it's so important to have conversations, even if they're tough conversations. If you're struggling with something, even in your personal life, and you want to bring it up to your professors, at least they know what is going on and they can kind of try to help you through it to reach your goal of completing your courses and things like that. And then second is taking advantage of the resources that campus offers us. Students, we have guest speakers that often come in. We do have concerts hosted by students. We have showcases hosted usually at the end of the semesters by students and professors. We have graduate fairs, which is really great, and career fairs. And we also have an internship advisor. So I am planning to move to a different state. And so I do talk to Tom Joyce about the possibility of having jobs for events and stuff like that in different states. And then they have career centers, to help with your resume, with your cover letter. And then we finally have manifests at the end of each year, which is really exciting to participate in. And my third advice would be investing in a journal. I still have my journal that my graduate ambassador, Kelly Schmader, hosting this Admitted Student Day event right now. She gave this to me before I attended Columbia, and I still have it, and I'm nearly done with it, because at the end, while you're trying to write your resume out or your cover letter, it's so great to be able to reflect, and it also helps with keeping you on top of your schedule. So those are my 3 tips.
Yeah, I mean, since I'm an alumna and a recent one, and the person who wrote a letter to Nadine in her journal, I want to say too that my tip is, and it definitely piggybacks off of these, that 2 years actually is very fast because you're looking at 4 semesters. So, you want to just dive in and like really see what the school can offer, what your faculty and your cohort can offer, and, just start doing things basically. Okay, so just to go into the admission side of things a little bit, you should have seen this page already, but this is your application status page, and we're really putting a lot of your next steps there, so you can just keep it all in one place and know what's going on. So I encourage you to, visit it regularly as things start to open up. A few little pieces of, record keeping we still need to make sure happen. One is transcripts. If you submitted unofficial transcripts, or if you're still an undergraduate and you haven't actually graduated yet, we're going to need an official copy of that transcript, and especially one that shows that you got your bachelor's degree once you are able to do so. And for international students, this also means that we will require a transcript evaluation that shows that you have gotten your degree if you didn't submit that already. And then under forms, we have the requirement of telling us your decision. You should have received an email from us stating that the decision deadline's been moved back to May 15th. We are going to just keep monitoring the situation in terms of this deadline, because it's possible we all might need a little bit more time depending on how things play out. So feel free to be in touch with me about that if you have questions. We really want to make sure that you feel comfortable with your decision right now, given that there is so much uncertainty. So we're not trying to rush everybody into committing necessarily, but we are happy to talk about it if you have concerns. And then an optional thing, and this is just if you want to apply for FAFSA and you're a domestic student, you can submit your social security number, and we will get you through the FAFSA process and get you an award letter saying what loans you're eligible for. And then if you're an international student, you will want to complete an I-20 request. This will just get the ball rolling on the documentation you need in order to get your student visa. So upcoming dates and deadlines, as I just mentioned, May 15th is the deadline to tell us your decision. And then between May 15th and the middle of June, we're going to have an online orientation portal that'll go live. This will only be to confirmed students. So if you decide to attend, and then you would go through the registration process once we have that information ready for you. Normally, and hopefully this will be the case, during August, we'll have some optional graduate student outings, and then we'll do on September 3rd an international student orientation, and then on Friday, September 4th, which is one of the funnest days of the year, we do a graduate student welcome day. That's all grad programs across Columbia, their first years come together, and we orient you on campus and do some fun social events, and it's a really good chance to get to start getting to know people, and especially people in other programs, which some of my better connections actually were from other programs as well once I was finished with the program. And then fall classes will begin on September 8th. So wahoo. Okay, so if you have questions, we're about to enter the Q&A portion now, but you can also still reach out to me and Justin at our emails listed here. And then if you want to talk to a current student as well, I am, happy to connect you to Charlie or Nadine when it makes sense. And just so you know, we're going to stop the recorded portion of this now, so we can all talk and you won't be on the